Hey, this is Bruce, and it's been an interesting week this week here at the old IT shop. So let me tell you what's going on. There's an old expression, be careful what you wish for because it might come true. And that is certainly was the case for me loud and clear this week. Now, a little background. You know I sell network security products. My practice is built a lot around the GFI product line, but they're not the only vendor that I rep for. In fact, there's several others, including StorageCraft is another one. There's some stuff I do on with actually it's a kind of an Adobe related product, but there's other stuff that I have. There's a SAN solution that I have. I'm set up with SolarWinds, etc. So there's a number of them, but I don't really advertise those on the website so much as I'm predominantly GFI. But one of the vendors I work with on occasion has been kind enough to share manufacturers' leads with us. And for the last 3 or 4 years, it's been really great. They would get some good stuff, and they would share it with us because they really decided that they wanted to be channel friendly. And to help us out, to get started with them, they started sending some business our way. And they seen that I could close the business. And it's a very highly consultative kind of sale. Very consultative kind of sale. So it's a very long sales cycle. A lot of time on the phone, doing demos, answering technical questions, working with support people. But when these things close, they pay pretty well. So let's go forward a few years. And they've ramped up their own internal sales force with the promise they were going to do a hybrid model. Now, we've invested very heavily in training and learning the software, the products, and we've been extremely loyal to this company as well. And all of a sudden, we started getting a lot of leads. Not the normal few at a time here and there. We're talking tons of them. And they have a portal that you log into, and it's basically Salesforce. And, you got to let them know you made the call and what the status of the deal is and all that. And they look it all over on their end. That's cool and that's great. But at the same time, they started doing a Google AdWords campaign that totally went off the rails. And by off the rails, I mean this company has been besieged by consumers, not just business, which is what I work with, the enterprise, but also consumers going to their site, totally ignoring the description of the software, the fact that it's for businesses, etc., only because they've seen an ad for it someplace it shouldn't have been, downloaded the software, and then their computers in turn update our portal that we log into, and suddenly we see all these open leads. Okay. They have these direct sales guys who every day basically forward all that to us. But before they do that, they've been going through and they've been taking not only stuff that they would normally keep themselves, but also cherry pick anything else that would have normally came to us, thus leaving us only pure, pretty much consumers. And we have our own CRM system, and it sends out a drip email, and it's a follow-up, and it's very nicely done. And then I get these emails from all these consumers wanting to know who we are, cancel their subscription. Of course, it's not a subscription. They want the refund. They never paid for anything. There's no charge for a demo download. They want to know how to get it off their phone or their tablet. By the way, this is Windows Enterprise Security Software. Won't install on a phone, tablet, console, gaming console, or whatever. And some of them get quite nasty. There are some people who apparently think it's funny to put in somebody else's information on the website and somebody else's name and phone number and email address. And then we got people freaked out this way. And you can't blame people in this day and age with all the fraud going on the internet. So the bottom line is I've been paying telemarketer to call these people, follow up on, thinking that they're businesses when they're actually consumers, and I've been losing money every week on this. And so it was time to make the phone call and cut them off as a vendor and say, no more. And that's going to be an interesting conversation because their management team is going to want to know why. And of course, I've alluded to, hey, what's going on? But apparently that day of reckoning is coming. It's not really going to hurt our business that much. In fact, it's probably going to be, I'm banking on it being better for us in the long term. So that is one thing that's going on in the IT shop this week. The other thing is, if you look right behind me here, you see a little bit different setup. You don't see my laptop sitting there. I'll tell you what's going on there. I want the new MacBook Pro, the $2599 model, and it's got the quad-core i7, 512 gig flash memory, and the NVIDIA GT 750 graphics card. That's what I want right now. It's $2599. I can get it refurbed for $2,099, so what, $500 cheaper. But you know what? I don't want to take the cash out of the bank right now to buy it. And I don't want to charge it. Here's something I believe. And this is a lesson I've learned because I used to be an impulse buyer. Oh, but I want it, I'll charge it, and I'll pay it off later. But you know what? And this is when I was a lot younger and dumber. A lot of times I didn't get around to paying those items off. And I would end up making payments for a long, long time on something that was an impulse buy. And so I got, believe me, I got the come to Jesus moment on all that. And after that, I've always been extremely careful about debt. And yes, I could write a check and pay for it, but I don't want to pull the money out of the company account right now. I want to build that up a little bit more. Because, I have this rainy day fund and I want to keep it at a certain level. And we had a few rainy days and now I'm building it back up. And that's kind of the way it is when you got a business, But I see a lot of people get into trouble buying a consumer item or an item they want on credit, even with the best intentions. Well, I'll pay it off with my tax refund, or I'll figure out what it takes to pay off in a year, and I'll send in that amount every month. And I see all these schemes that they use to justify to make this purchase in their mind. But the reality is, they just keep sending that minimum monthly payment each month, and those go up and they go up and go up. But so does your balance, up, 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 until you have this huge pile of debt. And it's simply not worth it, especially when you buy an item that is depreciating in value. That's the worst thing you can do. The only time I recommend people go into debt is for a house. That makes sense. Or if you need a safe vehicle and there's just no other way that you can swing it. Okay, I can even see a car note. Especially not on a new car. Okay, or a car, I'm not in agreement on financing a new car. But one that's a couple years old, so you're not paying all that depreciation. I can even see that. I'm a reasonable person. I'm not a zero debt freak, but a depreciating asset like a computer, unless you absolutely have to have one for work and there's just no other way, that would be about it. It is learning your needs versus your wants. And I don't need a new laptop right now. I'm just going to be using my Mac Pro for a few more months until I get it sold. And then, by then, I'll go ahead and write the check to buy the MacBook Pro. And by then, quite possibly, Apple will have a new model released anyway, probably using the Broadwell CPUs, which are not that dramatic of a performance difference over the Haswell. And I'm certainly, but what probably will be the big thing was a jump in the discrete GPU. Probably some 900 series NVIDIA, although they might move to AMD, I don't know. But that's, so for right now, I'm just kind of moved back into the old Mac Pro for a little bit longer, build up the cash a little bit more, and not go into, not even, I could put it on one of my credit cards, and I know I could write a check and pay it off tomorrow if I wanted to. But it just helps me sleep better at night knowing that I'm not in debt for something that I truly don't need or not going up in value. So yeah, that's this week's installment of the IT Shop. Just thought drop by and visit with you all for a little bit. And I always enjoy your comments down below. I'll talk to you later.